Okay, mic check. Should be able to hear and see. Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com. Welcome, welcome. All right, should be good to go here. What's going on, Aaron? Bumblebee Tuna, Eric A. All right, cool. Welcome, welcome. All right, Mr. Blue here. What's going on, Joe Frank, Daniel? All right, gonna be about an hour session. Pinkski. If I can get this thing right here. How about 2 hours? How about all night long? I go all night long. I can go all day long. All right, once I get this thing going here, my tripod thing got messed up. So I had it all nice and good, but it got messed up. So, all right, it's gonna be about an hour session here. I'm gonna go through, so Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com, right? And I'm gonna go through about an hour, give or take, about, go through some pre-market prep, look at some futures. Joe Frank, a real bits of Panther. We got some Phantoms in here, of course. So hopefully everybody's kicking off the new year good, right? We run a live trade room, a couple of live trade rooms at Phantoms.com. So we got a couple folks that are already Phantoms members in here that are in that live trade room, amongst other things. This is also for folks that just might be watching the channel, following, and get an insight or an idea of what it's like. And yeah, let's dive in. Yeah, Mr. Blue here, right? So today's date, just to put a timestamp on it, 2025, January 7th, Tuesday, right? I'll kick this off real quick with the just some news, or just checking what what's on the dock here regarding just some news economic wise, right? So at least what's scheduled, and pretty quiet week for the most part regarding news. You can see today, Tuesday, January 7th, we do have 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time ISM PMI. So that that's something that is noteworthy there. And then we have JOLTS job openings as well. That's at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that time is pretty significant because the market will be open for about 30 minutes, give or take, as that news is coming out. So as if you're taking any trades or opening positions within that first 30 minutes, just note that that 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time news announcements, two of them here, are noteworthy, right? For the remainder of the week, not really much here regarding news. We do have non-farm payrolls Thursday, that is, Wednesday and Thursday. We do have unemployment claims on Wednesday. Tomorrow, ADP non-farm payroll. Thursday is pretty light. That's what I was mentioning there. And then we got Friday non-farm payrolls, which is the first Friday of the month that comes out all the time. So that's a big one there too, that moves markets. Okay, and of course I'm more oriented around the USD, the U.S. markets there, right? We have a couple things as well in the other countries overseas, over the pond. All right, so I'll get to the charts here in a moment. This is some SPY here, but I'll start off here, Think or Swim, and bring this up. And right before I do that, let me just mention real quick, I bring this up all the time. Here is a, at Phantoms, the backdrop is, the strategy is, of course, going to be demand and supply, institutional demand and supply. Okay, multiple time frame analysis, top down, I should say, top down multiple time frame analysis. So starting always from the higher time frames. Okay, even if you're a day trader, right? We want to know where we are on the said higher time frame. So you'll see I have this little checklist here to help folks at Phantoms and traders, right? So I have monthly, weekly, daily. Orange, yellow, blue is the color code for those said levels. So anything that you see in a orange color code has to do with a monthly time frame. Yellow is designated for weekly. Blue is designated for daily, right? So I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but we discussed this in detail, so on and so forth, in the classes and live trade rooms, so on and so forth at Phantoms, right? Location of candlesticks being most important here. Here's the bullish candlesticks patterns here, bearish here, and then of course, which I discuss fairly heavy and reference a lot. The liquidity map, what I call the liquidity map here. Okay, so there's a whole thing here. We kind of go through it with due time. All right, so now it's the think or swim. Okay, I got the monthly here, I got the weekly here, I got the daily, right? So I got monthly, weekly, daily. As always, just mentioned, we always want to start from the higher time frames here. Okay, I have the 60-minute time frame on the upper left, 30-minute time frame here, lower left, and I have the 5-minute time frame here in the middle, followed by, last but not least, the 2-minute time frame here on the right. Okay, so again, that top-down multiple time frame approach. Okay, it's a new month, new year as well. I'm going to be discussing this tomorrow in the live trade room with the team, with the official live trade room. We have multiple hours. Okay, but yeah, just make sure you're pulling your. We use what's called VWAP, volume weighted average price. Okay, so just make sure you're pulling a VWAP for the new year. I have that highlighted in kind of dark. Dark color here, black, dark gray, whatever this is, right? So, January 2nd was the first trading day of the new year, 2025, right? So I just pulled a VWAP off that. I'm gonna keep that on, okay, for the remainder of the year. Okay, if you notice this one here, just as a quick reference, this yearly VWAP, okay, yearly VWAP in darker black here is the one that was used for, of course, January 2024, okay? And that was a beautiful thing to track, okay? Both market, both of the two big market drops that we've had in early 2024. Then even in the Japan interest rate change, market stopped right at yearly VWAP. Big question from Jason Rodriguez. My Excel sheet for the column win percent win loss account. I'm filling it out. Swing trade. Should I find the percent change from the day? It'd be total, Jason, right? It's just what was the end result in totality of the trade? Does that make sense for your Excel sheet bookkeeping? What was the end result, right? What was the end result of the overall trade? All right, and if you got some scales, right? Like if you got scale, like let's say you hit multiple targets, maybe you hit a 1-to-1 on target 1, maybe you hit a 2-to-1 on a target 2, and then maybe you hit a 4-to-1 on a target 3 runner or something like that. You would put all those together, and as an aggregate, what was the total risk reward ratio as an aggregate, right? So you'd have assuming all the contract sizes were equal, like let's say you had a 4-to-1, a 2-to-1, and a 1-to-1. What's that? What's 7 divided by 3? All right, that would be what, a 2.3 or something like that, R ratio. Overall as an aggregate. So what was the final end result of the overall trade? All right, hoping that helps. I'm gonna actually do a bonus session. I have a long laundry list here of, I've been mentioning this, right, for the new year. A long laundry list of some bonus sessions that we do at Phantoms, and that's actually one of on my list. Okay, pyramiding in and out, and then bookkeeping. Bookkeeping, it's very important, right? Especially now, at the end of the year. So, of course, we got to pay taxes, right? So, yeah, that's super important. Okay, that's super important there. All right, so let's get back here. So I'm gonna go to I'll start off with the S&P futures. All right. So, excuse me. So of course I got the monthly here, I got the weekly here, I got the daily here. Usually what I'll do here real quick is I'll go through, I got the S&P upper left. All right. I got the NASDAQ upper right. I got the Dow Jones lower left futures here. And then we got the Russell 2000 bottom right. If I pop open, say the daily time frame of S&P futures, okay? And so as you can see, we had this, this was a Fed day, right? I'm not gonna go too far in the past here, but that December 18th, Wednesday, the Fed day, if you will, okay? We had a nice drop, right? Massive drop there. Okay, and then now just keep a long story short, we try to rally off of that, try to make a new high, could not. Okay, then we try to drop down and we try to make a new low and we can't. Okay, so far, right? So we haven't made a new high, okay, off of the Fed announcement. And we really haven't made a new low. Now Q swiped a quick little new low, okay, just really quickly, didn't close below there. We had a level of demand down there, and then we're popping back up a little bit. So the point that I'm trying to make, just to keep a long story short here, is that we're still trying to just base, or we're just basing here, right? So after this big drop here, this should have, if this market was going to continue with its, head steam rally that we've been having in 2024, of course, the markets, had a stellar year, like 25%, give or take, right? Stellar year. That's an amazing year, bull market, right? So the point that I'm trying to make off the back of the Fed announcement, big drop here. We try to make a new higher high. We couldn't yet, right? So, so far, we put in a lower high, okay, from here to here, but this is not complete yet. You don't know this is going to be the lower high. Then you can see we tried to drop back down, right? We tried to drop back down, and, we could not make a lower low as well here. And then, this week, off the back of Friday, okay, Friday was a good, nice little bullish day. The bulls kind of showed up, okay, off the back of this demand zone that we've had here. Okay, that's just been highlighted here. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple demand zone. And, yesterday we had a nice little continuation rally, okay? Now, we could just be in range, right? So we could be, we're going to make a new all-time high. Potentially we could, okay? This is still, if this market just takes this level out right here, this little pivot that got put in, then we could absorb, okay, the Fed December 18th candle, which is the Fed high in futures, is what could be off a couple of ticks or points here. So just make sure it's right, and I'll round up and down, right? So 6150 handle. So S&P futures. So that's going to be a nice hit point to see, if we can take that out to make a new all-time high. All right, now, in Phantoms, we talk a lot about, of course, demand and supply. We also talk about other things called, positive, negative COG. Just, buying where buyers are coming into the market, buy covers and buying enters, okay, liquidity-wise, and also selling. Okay, selling when sellers are coming into the market as supply, which is going to be sell to exit distribution, and then also potentially sell short to enter, okay, which is new accumulation. Okay, so again, there's more. I need way more time to discuss that concept. That's beyond the scope of a 1 hour session on YouTube. Okay, and I also do want to get to some live setups as well if I see fit. But the point that I'm trying to make is we had a nice little positive COG close, last Friday. All right, and so far we're kind of following through on that so far. Okay, so we'll see. Could this be bottom here, and take us back up? And again, the next pivot point here is going to be what S&P futures 61,000. Okay, so you'll see in the darker background, you see hopefully the prices a little bit better right here. Okay, so right now green team has the ball. All right, green team has the ball. We'll see if that continues. Now, if I were to ask y'all where we are location wise, okay, macro bull market, we have a pullback, we have correction, we have another pullback here. Okay, so we're in the middle, I will say, right? We're in the middle of this said pivot low here that is kind of putting in a potential double bottom. Okay, you can kind of maybe call this a triple bottom if you include that as well. Okay, and then up here, which is the all-time high. Okay, so if I pin out the all-time high, kind of this red box up here, and then I got the green boxes down here, they represent kind of just demand supply, just the controlling anchor points of what's controlling this market right now. If I look at where we are current price-wise, okay, we're in the middle of that. All right, we're in the middle of that. So, just noteworthy that. All right, well, that's noteworthy, I should say. So being in the middle of the location of demand and supply, if you will, is not going to be the greatest. But right now, we would lean against what's the overall market picture, okay, which is still bullish, okay, because we haven't really broken any structure lower. Okay, we got VIX. Well, we got VIX this morning so far, which I'm going to get to, but right now we got VIX down slightly. Okay, so VIX down, market up. All right, so VIX, had a the Fed, nice little spike right there. Okay, and then we kind of calmed down, and then we had a little bit of a correctional move. All right, but right now this morning, to keep it short and sweet, we got VIX down. All right, VIX down. Nothing crazy. All right, but VIX, if the VIX is down, market up. Okay, if the VIX is up, market down. All right, to keep it simple. There's more to that. Okay, but that's just to keep it super, ABC simple for right now. Okay, so VIX is kind of coming back down off its little, of course, Fed high here, and then it's been putting in a couple of days where we spiked up a bit, could not really close up. Okay, now we're fading back down in said VIX. Okay, so if this VIX continues to fade back down and gets down to maybe the 14, say 13 handle, then that's going to be more inducive of markets potentially hovering at or around all-time highs or making new all-time highs. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure if there's anything else to say about that. NASDAQ, I can keep it short and sweet. It's almost going to be virtually identical. Okay, so here's the NASDAQ, okay, futures. Okay, same thing. There goes the Fed drop here. We pulled back down. We had this, demand zone here that we were talking about, last week. All right. And, we couldn't make a new, it swiped a quick little new like lower low right here, just on the, as a wick coming deeper into that demand zone there. All right, but you can see here's a level, here's the first tag here. Here's the second tag. Nice little positive COG close on Friday. We got long. Okay, we got long NASDAQ, not only intraday, but also for a bit of a swing trade. By the way, make sure you took some profit on some of those. Okay, we got this Friday's expiration. It took a little bit off yesterday, and we'll see if we can continue. Okay, there's that pivot level right there. All right, that's a reference point. Now, I like these little pivots within pivots because this could provide some liquidity. Okay, so there's going to be some stop losses built up here. Some breakout traders are going to be looking at this. So this little pivot right here is just equivalent in the S&P as well that I was just mentioning. Okay, this is not the Fed drop. Okay, this is the Fed drop 1218. Okay, we try to correct that. Pull back down, same thing, right? So, we'll see. This will be interesting because if we swipe above here, there's going to be some liquidity up here because, just people who are short this market going to, have to put their stop loss somewhere. Okay, you got breakout traders that would maybe if this breaks up, we're going to go higher, right? So it's just all liquidity, right? And I talk a lot about that when I have more time regarding liquidity. All right, actually, in fact, there's going to be an area where I have a bit of a Globex trap set up as I can already see right here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go through the what's called the Globex traps, okay? Globex traps in S&P and NASDAQ futures, and I'll do some gold as well. All right, and I had a note from somebody that mentioned, even though we've been dropping over the past week or two, we're back up a little bit. Are we still in a bull market? The answer is yes. Okay, so just make sure you focus on that monthly and the weekly time frames. Okay, as your high time frame. So as you can see, the monthly and the weekly, we're a couple percentage points off all time highs. Okay, but we're still in a nice little macro picture uptrend. Okay. Also, as a noteworthy too, just for the tube here, you might want to reference the October low. Okay, that's represented by this monthly yellow orange line right here, October low. So that price point comes in. This is SPX, by the way, 5660s. Okay. So that's also, 5670. Okay, 5670. Okay, it could be a little bit of a liquidity sweep right below that monthly low as well. Okay. But let me go back to the futures. We're going to map out our Globex traps. So I'll start off with the S&P and I'll kick it off with the 60-minute time frame here. Okay. And one of the first things that we do is map out what's called a Globex high, Globex low, which is just a fancy word for overnight high, overnight low. So again, S&P futures on a 1 hour time frame here. This is what you're looking at. And this Thinkorswim here grays this space out. So this gray space is the overnight session. So here's the high of said overnight session so far. So we're kind of already we're on highs right now just for the overnight session. Okay, doesn't mean it's going to continue higher, but we're on highs. Here's the Globex low. And the setup and strategy is as such. Okay, if I break Globex low, do I have an institutional level of demand below Globex low, which is represented by that blue line right there? And if I look down and left, we do have some demand right here. Okay, can't argue with that. This was once supply coming up here, base, breakout here. Now this level was developed during the overnight session. Okay, as you can see the other gray space here on Sunday evening. Okay, so it's a little less reliable, but it's demand nonetheless. So therefore, I will reference that. That price point comes in, give or take, roughly 59. I'll round up, 59.90. All right, just to keep the math pretty simple and numbers pretty simple here. All right, so this could be a Globex trap called the G-trap long, getting bullish. All right, now I'm going to put an asterisk on this, which represents this is somewhat aggressive. Why? Because the level, albeit it's a demand zone, last time price was there, prices ricocheted up, moved up pretty significantly, right? That was yesterday's rally. Or started off early in the morning, we pulled back a little bit, but that would be a decent little Globex trap long right there, 59.90. But it's aggressive because it's the overnight. The demand zone was the overnight session developed during the overnight session. Okay, if I wanted to go a little bit below that, this level might be fairly decent here. If I look right below that, there's an impulse, a basing, and an impulse. Little IBI right there called the 1, 2, 3 go to called the 1, 2, 3 go as well with price action that I trade as well. But that price comes in at about, now this is a level price point that developed during the regular trading hours. So 59.75. And our good friend Santo, who is a great value member at Phantoms, he's also looking at this little guy right here, 6,000. And that is below the Globex low. So it on the books does qualify, right? On the books it does qualify. So there's one right there too. All right. Just be careful with that one though. Even number two, right? So there might be some. What we're trying to do is trap, right? So I'll be a little. Again, this would probably be a little bit more aggressive. All right. Again, overnight session, but there's the development of the time of this level. All right. So there's something there. Okay. Indeed, for sure. All right. But I'm just gonna I copy and paste the aggressive line on that, for the reasons discussed. All right. But indeed, there's something there. Alrighty then. All right, and again, the 59.75. That's one from Friday. We had impulse basing impulse right here. All right. Now, I'll just make a green box right there. Globex trap short. So you have level on level. So there's some demand below. Trying to break this out. We have supply, breaking out. We're breaking out, trying to make all time. We're trying to make, well, potentially, yeah, we are trying to make maybe all time highs. All right, but we're not there yet. But you can see down. All right, we kind of broke this, right? Broke this, and now we're trying to form demand. Okay, what was once supply is now forming demand on the backside. Okay, so yeah, interesting. If we look at I had this 60.45 right here, liquidity sweep. We swiped above that yesterday. Came up to a next level here. Push back down. Okay, now we're kind of rally back up. So, if for Globex trap shorts, we can reference yesterday's high. Okay, and there is a supply zone in here. If I investigate this area, again, overnight session here. All right, so I want to be a little bit more conservative. Call it 60, kind of 82. There's a couple levels up here. All right, now I want to be a bit more cautious with this one because, of course, if this market wants to pick up its steam and align back up to the upside, you gotta be careful, right? Because the market could just continue to make rallies right now. Typically, January would be a decent little bullish month, but that's not always going to be the case, okay? But 60.82, we have 61.07 up here as well. This is not the all-time high. This is that kind of pivot level that I was mentioning here. After we pulled back on Fed, we tried to rally back up. We couldn't make a new high. Then we pushed back down. Okay, so that 6100 in S&P futures is that kind of mid pivot after Fed. Okay. All right, so 82s might be decent there, above yesterday's high. So if we're already long, and that's what I was going to mention here in a moment. So you can see this white dashed line, if y'all could see that, is VWAP. Okay, this blue line here is the 20 EMA, and then you got the 50 EMA here as well. So just for right now, okay, we do have what's called positive COGs. Okay, if I circle this bar right there, if I circle this green bar, taking out this prior red bar, close above that red bar high, right? If I circle, well, actually the official positive COG is going to be here with this. We have some green bars taking out red bars back above VWAP. Okay, so right now the position to be in would be fairly long futures. Okay, getting long for right now if you're ripping the tape, what we call it the hard right edge. Okay, so we'll see if that continues. Now we just did make a new Globex high. Okay, so I'll update that, but we could pull back. Okay, we could pull back. All right, so we can reference the Globex traps, so on and so forth. Yes. Okay, but if you wanted to be a bit more aggressive, okay, we can try to get long here as we pull back into some short, intermediate, very small term time frame demand. And I always reference the VWAP, okay, the volume weighted average price. So that would be somewhere, not really fresh and prime anywhere down here. All right, but I'd reference the 27 handle, 60.27. Okay, this would be super aggressive. Just kind of engaging on a pullback down into VWAP. Yesterday morning, I remember I was trading, and maybe a couple minutes, maybe it was like 15 minutes right before the market opened. markets on the small time frames, it swiped down beautifully into VWAP. All right, literally was a wick and then just took off the rest of the morning. So I'm not saying it's going to happen again today, okay? But be ready, all right, in the event that it does. All right, it happened yesterday, beautifully actually, right here. All right, right there, right before open, 9:10, right? Literally 9:10, right? Swipe back down right into daily VWAP, okay? And then boom, new high. All right, I'm not sure if anybody caught that, but nice one there. Has some man with some VWAP right there. That was a nice one. All right, I'm not saying it's gonna happen again today. All right, but just always be ready. I always mention be ready for a VWAP test. What's your thoughts on using GEX on levels on ES and NQ? Go for it. Love GEX. So absolutely. Absolutely. Learning new things about GEX. Every day I try to learn something new regarding GEX every single day, right? So love it. All right, we're gonna move it, push it forward here. Okay. So this will be aggressive long day trade. You know, 26, 27 handle, 60. All right, in the event that we pull back. I'm gonna have to do NASDAQ pretty quicker here. I've got gold kind of pushing this morning too. But I can say the same thing here. I had a couple levels here, right? We're starting to break that now, right? 60-minute time frame NASDAQ futures here and Globex high. There's a lot of lines here, I get it. I'll try to clean it up a bit. Globex low. All right. It was pretty simple here. What was once kind of, some supply here, base, break. Could be now demand on the other side, right? This is the aggressive level. Okay, Thinkorswim, you can, okay. Thinkorswim's acting up. So I'll figure out a different way. It doesn't want to follow commands. I will copy and paste and do another command. Because I'm so cool with computers. All right, I'll just switch this over, 21,505. So this would be G-trap long, aggressive. Aggressive because the level was developed overnight as such. All right, it's demand zone here. All right, below that, I'm sure there's something right in here too. You can see this impulse basing impulse right below here, in addition to everything we just mentioned there. That'd be the equivalent one to the S&Ps. So NASDAQ 21,580 handle, give or take. Aggressive. And in the event that we swipe down even below those levels, which could happen, right? This one would be the next one here, IBI right down in here. So call it 21,400 NASI, 380-ish. Okay, I'll round down 375, 21K, 375 NASDAQ, G-trap long. All right. So there we go. All right. Now we had this, we had levels here. We kind of came up, right? Pulled down a little bit, right? There goes that VWAP test and broke out, right? Broke out above. So I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit. I'll keep the boxes there as reference, but again, it's kind of annoying with all these lines everywhere, right? So I gotta clean up the charts a little bit. I like to keep it there just to show y'all, the verdict and kind of what happened off levels. All right, but I gotta clean it up at some point, right? So keep the boxes there. However, all right, we broke that. All right, so same thing, we're kind of breaking some supply here. We snapped this little channel right here. So we're trying to base break, okay, pretty simple. All right, trying to base break here potentially. You could use yesterday's high as you should be mapping out already. It's on the checklist. Okay, super important. Okay, super important. All right, all right. Map out yesterday's high and low, last week's high low, last month's high low, so on and so forth. It's super important. All right, yesterday's high in Nasdaq futures. All right, we're trying to break out a little bit here. Again, positive COGs. If you're long Nasdaq, okay, this would be some target areas here. Okay, if we break that, we could potentially coming up here a bit more higher, right? So if I investigate this area here, there goes that pivot level. Okay, these are all overnight. Nasdaq rips, so I'd want to be a bit more conservative with y'all. And I can reference this. This is kind of a lot of wicks up here and things like that. So there's not, the supply pair. There's levels. Don't get me wrong, but they're not the greatest levels in the world. Okay, a lot of wiki, a lot of wicks tests already. But in short, to say less here, 22,045. This could be a potential for a D-trap short today if this gets up here. You're saying, well, do you think it's going to get up there today? I'm not sure. All right, probably not. All right, but again, as mentioned, I'm just trying to be a bit more conservative with the shorts. All right, even I forget who I was talking to the other day, yesterday, but just people are still trying to like short this market, and then yesterday I kind of got faded out. All right, yeah, we pulled back late day. All right, because we kind of stretched a little bit there. All right, and we pulled back down, and now we're basing, and we could, it could be a base break today. Okay, it could be a base break today. All right, so I don't want to get in front of a a fast-moving steam-rolling train here. Okay, so again, just remember, focus on the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. Okay, right now, positive COG on Friday, continuation yesterday all being Monday, and last week we put in a bit of what's called a hammer bar. Okay, I think SPX might be a little bit more easier to see because I don't have so many lines on it. Okay, but last week, okay, if you can see this little candle right there, it was a nice little hammer candle, location-wise, decent too, because we pulled back down into some demand. Okay, so some on the higher time frames, So again, monthly, weekly, daily up, and that little weekly close last week was pretty decent. Okay, this is why we picked up some bullish exposure in the overall markets, Qs, so on and so forth. All right, let me see, gold. Gold looking good, monthly, weekly, daily. I know this might be hard to see, GLD. So, we had last month inside monthly close. Long story short, gold has been kind of getting pinched, pinched up here. All right, massive rally 2024. Okay, we pulled back, we pulled down, we got some weekly demand down in here. We're trying to rally, trying to drop, trying to rally, trying to drop. We're getting pinched. In short here, right? So, but pinched up. So this could be a break. Okay, this could be a break. January, February, still a very good seasonality-wise in futures, bullish gold. Okay, it doesn't always mean it's going to be that way. Okay, but structure-wise, we haven't broken anything lower, really, on the monthlies and the weeklies as such, right? So, up. Okay, up. If I go to futures, if I go to the smaller time frames here on gold. A couple levels here. I'm not going to go back. You can go maybe watch the past recordings of YouTube and the trade rooms that we have too as well for my official phantoms. But we had this drop, okay, weekly level, the famous 2540, okay. Then we had a rally, pulled back down. We had this massive red bar here, try to rally. We mentioned that we had this daily supply that needed to get absorbed, okay, and then almost to a T, this red illustration here, where I have these lines here, this red thick line here, this red line here with this pullback, okay? That was that one day that we had this massive drop, okay? This massive drop, which was the date right here, November 25th, okay? And then I was using that for liquidity, right? And then I was mentioning that if we break below that, okay, probably some short traders are gonna try to short gold, okay? Even though we're in a macro picture uptrend, and we had levels of demand right below that. That's represented by this red line right there. Okay, and then gold came down to 2,600, which we kind of had pinned. These were all inside levels of that mother bar that we were mentioning. Okay, and then we're off that right now, right? And then you had a couple levels down in here, 2585, 2770s, so on and so forth. I was actually hoping that gold can come a little bit lower, 2540s again, and maybe test those weekly lows. Okay, but so far it did not. All right. But here we are right now, current price on the hard right edge, 2671. Okay, so again, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll map out my Globex low, which so far this morning is right here. Okay, Globex high, which is right here. All right, now I'm going to be more inclined to pick up longs or bullish. All right, we got a couple levels here, 2640, that got hit, made a nice little rally, came back down at 2625, we had a level right there, nice little rally. So far that's the low. Okay, that's the low. Interesting. So for this week, okay, and it could be the low for this month, okay, if gold really does kick off to the upside. Now, if we do break the Globex low again to here today, okay, I'd be careful with the 2640 because that got hit once and it swiped through. Okay, see that right here? They got hit. This is a level right here. Got hit, rallied up, then it swiped through. It came to the lower level right here. Okay, so I'm on a 60-minute time frame, so it's a small time frame, relatively so. So could we take another Globex trap long off the 26.25 here potentially today? Yeah, not too bad. All right, we just touched that level and dipped out of there. Okay, again, macro picture up still overall in gold. Okay, so long story short, 26.25 could be a potential Globex trap long today. Globex trap short, if we were to rally up, X TIA. Let's see what that looks like real quick. Sounds sketchy. Looks like penny stock. I'll be careful with it, but looks like it's probably hot right now in the penny stock chat rooms, so on and so forth. So 88-cent stock. It's up 4 cents to 88, or 8 cents, 4 to 8. But this is a penny stock, so just be careful with it. So my thoughts are, it's a penny stock, so be careful with it. You can make some money trading some penny stocks. You can also lose some money, just like anything in trading. All right, not really my cup of tea. All right, but just be careful with that. That's all. Cheap stock, 4 cents, 8 cents. Not a lot of risk if you're wrong with whatever's going on right now, but I could tell it's probably just hot in the internet world, rooms, etc. Globex trap short. Yeah, we long NVIDIA. Y'all still got some long NVIDIA, right? Some long exposure. That NVIDIA trade actually came out really strong. So hopefully, I don't know, did y'all get long yesterday too? Yesterday was an easy day to get long NVIDIA. Let me finish this thought here. I mean, Globex trap short, be careful with that. I would reference this. Yeah, yesterday was kind of easy. Globex trap short. 27.05 potentially. Like I see, I appreciate it. Yeah, one thing you'll notice about Phantoms, man, especially myself, Mr. Blue, well, everybody here, but I give you the real deal, man. Anybody, you can do well. We're trading on penny stocks, most, but you gotta know what you're doing. But just be careful. Ideally, you'd want to graduate and grow yourself into trading the more professional products. You gotta be careful with the penny pump and dumps, man. Some crazy stuff happens on the internet sometimes, right? It's great if you're on the right side of it. It's not so great if you're on the wrong side. So what we're trying to do is train real traders to learn the skill set and trade the official, products, right? Options, futures, right? Trade options on, stock. On big names like NVIDIA, you can see the crew in here, right? NVIDIA is not a BS stock, right? Some people think it is. But I'm gonna move on. We got 4 minutes before market open. We already checked VIX. All right. So we got VIX, pretty quiet. Map that on the higher time frames as well. I don't have enough time for that right now. But we also map this out on the smaller time frames in addition to the high. So overnight high in said VIX. Here. Overnight low in VIX. Yeah, news on Meta. There's always going to be some kind of news. Just be careful, I can care less about what the news is doing or saying. I care more about what the price action is responding to that news, whatever it is. There's always going to be somebody talking about something on the radio stations and TV stations about something. Everybody always has some shit to say. All right, but I don't care what people say. I listen to what the price action is telling me. All right, a lot of news announcements are just bullshit to entice people to buy or sell something, right? But Meta had a little bit of news, right? I think Dana White from UFC is one of the board members on Meta. All right, could that have been one of the reasons why Meta, ripped up yesterday? Not sure. All right, but I don't care. I don't care. That was great because it ripped my QQQ position up in a good way. All right, the options were up well over 100%. Nice, and I'm still in. So we'll see. All right, got long S&Ps yesterday, Nvidia. So great, but the longer you do this, the less you care about news, things like that. It's noteworthy. I am noteworthy of it, yes, but I'm not going to go crazy over it and try to dissect everything and figure out what, at the end of the day, what's the market going to do and react and respond on that. So I keep my eyes on the tape. I keep my eyes on the price action. As I take a sip of coffee, here's TradePhantoms.com. Click register. I'll come back to this too as well. All right. But everybody kind of started here. I'm going to go through some gaps or lack thereof through FANG stocks here. All right, starting with SPYs, SPY, daily time frame. All right, right now, we had a nice little positive COG close on Friday. We spoke about that. We got bullish. Okay, we had a nice little pop yesterday. Okay, rally in the morning, kind of pulled back down, kind of mean reverted. Again, same thing here. We have that little pivot level right there. Okay, this is the all-time high in SPYs. Here's that pivot low so far. Okay, so even though we've been dropping a couple days, we haven't a couple days for the early part of this year. Okay, we haven't really broke anything. Okay, but as far as a S&P futures new high, if you want to take some profit. Slight gap up, inside gap, so close here, open here, so slight gap up, nothing too crazy there. Inside gap, Qs got long, positive COG, nice. All right, close here, slight gap up, inside gap. There goes that pivot level here. By the way, this is where you want to take some more profit. TP, take profit on some of the swings that we have here, folks, my phantoms. All right, y'all can't see that. Let me make that a bit more bigger. All right, so if we get up to this area here, weekly, this is a 2 weeks ago high. Okay, TP some longs, that comes in at about QQQs 531s. If you're long NASDAQ futures, because you don't maybe trade options, which is cool, which is fine. All right, trade multiple asset classes at Phantoms. I'd TP some longs on NASDAQ futures if you caught it on NASDAQ futures. All right, Apple, nice little pullback. All right, that Apple had. We're in short, slight gap down. Our market's already open. Amazon, a bit of relative strength, absorbing this level here. Google, yeah. Apple's interesting. Meta is trying to push. Apple's interesting. I'm curious to see if Apple. This was once the all-time high in Apple, and it's last month's low. I'm curious to see if Apple can get down to the 237 handle. That would be a nice, what's called front side entry here as well. It'd be interesting to see if this demand level holds. All right. So the market just opened. We got to TP some Nvidia. I got to do that personally for myself right now. Nvidia all-time high, baby. I got the crew. Along this. The team. I don't know. Somebody was mentioning shorting Nvidia. I don't know. But just took some profit on some Nvidia. All right, but let me see if I can find something here for y'all, folks. So if you are long Nvidia, make sure you TP, scale out some new all-time highs, okay? That'd be my humble recommendation, suggestion there. All right, didn't get out of everything, but I got options that are, doing very well. Obviously, I'm long stock too. I should probably shave out a little long stock here too, my TradeStation account. Then I gotta move on, right? Nvidia, where are you?
Order filled.
All right, so I'm just taking profit on some Nvidia here. On options, and I own a little stock. I mean, who doesn't own Nvidia stock? All right. But let me, this is not the reason why I'm here, but I am a real live trader, so I gotta hit that. All right, RIP to the basic head and shoulder traders out there in the world. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. My entry was literally the breakdown of the neck, and we got long down in here, and we just took, we just, NVIDIA from here to here, new all-time high. So again, just retail traders doing retail trader things, and just did a bullish trap trade, and there we go. I digress. Pretty simple stuff, man. VIX and internals. Let me just get a, VIX still on lows, but just a little bit of an uptick there. Nothing too crazy. Advanced declines, positive 1,000, extremely positive negative 2,000, Vol D, positive negative 3. This is volume up versus volume down on New York Stock Exchange. Positive negative 3. Positive or negative 3 is Aiden. What's going on, brother? I'm well. I'm at an all-time high, brother. I am at an all-time high. So hopefully you are too, brother. Good to see you. Let's see, Q's, this needs to fill in. Google is on fire, one of the lead stocks right now. Had an outside gap yesterday, and we had a nice, solid, better close. I'm looking decent. It's hard to trust, but it is looking decent. A bit of a slight pain gap on that. I want to be a little careful with bullish exposure too much. Remember, folks, where we are location-wise, we're in the middle of. We're in the middle. So just be diligent. Google has relative strength. Google is just on fire right now. So for bullish exposure, I can already tell Google's going to hold some strength here, or is holding relative strength. Okay. I don't know if it's going to continue that way. All right, but for bullish exposure, decent. All right, off the 2-minute time frame here, which is a very small one. Decent little bar that got put in here. All right, all-time highs. There's really nothing to stop it. All-time highs is 202.88. So Google might be a decent one there. AVGO has failure. Had gap up failure so far. It's still a hard one to short. Netflix, interesting. Netflix might be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this week closes, but Netflix might have a potential swing potentiality. But here's what I'm gonna do right now. We got a VWAP test on Google. Now be careful with this trade, because markets, markets. So I'm gonna get long on Google, long call. Just be careful with this one. So I'll do January 10th expiration, which is this Friday. This will be a day trade, right? So what are we trading? 199. So if I pick up, say the 200 strike, it's going for about $1.83. All right. So I'm gonna get long Google. That'll be the first kind of trade initiation here. Open. These options are going for about $1.83. So I'm pulling the trigger on these right now. All right, I'm gonna get filled at, I got filled at $1.80 per contract on the 200 strike call on Google, bullish. All right, for a day trade. Let me do some risk on it for y'all real quick. I mean, if we were to break this level here on this, yesterday's essentially, yesterday's pullback basing here. What is this, 190, call it 196.40. Let me just see what that looks like. $196.40, enter that. So we bought for 180, you'd be risking, it's about $1 risk, about $1, $100 per contract risk. Okay, so what we bought for $1.80 could be going for about $1.99, give or take. Oh, 90 cents, I should say. All right, so you're probably risking about $1 on that. So stop loss is going to be here. $196.40. I mean, Meta is at a supply area, yes. You know, closer to the all-time highs. I mean, you could do that. Be careful. You know, you could do that. You're shorting one of the strongest stocks on the planet. But off the open here so far, yeah, we have Fang not looking so good here off the open. We are a little stretched here, so I mean, Meta's one of the stronger ones. I mean, we do have a nice wide range bar off open here, bearish. You know, but here's the thing, folks. I mean, it's going down right now, but you know, if I look left, are we coming into a level of? There's a little space here if we come lower, but you know, are we coming into a level of basic demand right there? So if you are getting that, you know, you'd be, you know, great. Or if you are looking to do that, I mean, be great, but just be careful with that. Still, macro bull up, up, up. Meta is one of the strongest stocks in Fang. All right, we're what, a couple of points off all-time highs. All right, so just look left, know what you're coming into. All right. You know, I would still almost say, you know, wait for it to pull back down because it might not come all the way down here, but you know, get long in the event we pull back deeper. All right, for at least for right now. All right, but we're not there yet, right? But if you are long puts, I would suggest to if you did snag them, just make sure you're TPing appropriately down in here. All right, here's a little sneaky level right here. See that little level right there? 613 handle on Meta. This actually might be decent for a little sneaky long play right there. All right, so if you like, what I would recommend and suggest is, you know, if you're going to try to short something, short a weak stock in a weak sector. Meta is not that. Meta is not that. So you're fighting against the grain of overall higher time frames. All right, no, now don't get me wrong, right? It was good for, you know, it's probably good for a nice little scalp short right off the open. All right, and it could continue today. Don't get me wrong. All right, but we'll see. If I had a little more time, usually in the live trade room, you know, I spend like four hours with the group, so I want to be a little diligent and safer just on the YouTube here, so nobody you know makes a mistake. GLD trying to go. GLD is inside bar past 2 weeks. If we can get a close above the 1216 weekly hammer here, there's a positive COG. All right, I'm gonna get I'm pulling back. I mean, GLD is looking decent for some long call here. See Apple at that level. Apple's trying to put in a decent little bar here. S&P futures at its VWAP, 60/30. I didn't even load GEX. S&P futures pulled back pretty nicely there. Positive GEX. Typically a little bit more bullish. Looks like we got a massive iron condor here on SPX today, 59.40s. So the options profile, Tesla, one of my faves. IW I'm trying. Tesla looking fairly decent. Yeah, Tesla just putting a nice little positive CRG here. We're not above weekly and monthly view up, but daily, yes. All right, Tesla long call. All right. I love me some Tesla. January 10th expiration. What are we trading? 412s, 413 rounding up. So if I pick up, I don't know, like a 40 delta maybe, 420, nice. Not too bad. This is going for about what, 740. So I'm gonna get long call, 420 strike call. This will be a day trade. Friday's expiration. We'll see how today closes. I mean, we'll see. First of all, even if this is gonna work out. Stop loss on this. Had a monster trade on this last Friday with the group. So stop loss on this below 400. So call it 475. Let me see what that looks like. So if I were to buy these options at 420 strike, Friday's expiration, and I get stopped out at 475. It'll be about a $300 risk, $400 risk per contract, okay? All right, so position size accordingly to that. All right, so I'm gonna pick these up 420s. They're going for about 730, give or take. Depending on how today closes, too, might want to hold these, but let's cross that bridge first. Let's cross one bridge first, get in. Manage the risk. So I got filled at 720 personally over here. All right, so I got these for 720. Stop loss 475 in the stock. So you'd be risking about $400 per contract. Okay. All right, we got a nice little positive CRG. The group knows somebody. I don't know exactly the name, but whoever shouted that out, good job. All right, we got some folks in here that are trained pretty well. TP Google, Ryan, my man. All right, there we go. Google new high. Let's TP some. Take profit. TP means take profit. All right. All right, from 180 to 233 on the option here. So I'm gonna take some profit on Google. Nice little rip to start off the morning. All right, so bottom for 180, just sold some off at 252, just hit the market. All right, still in, but a solid TP1. TP Timmy, as we call him. Okay. AMD, pretty interesting. It is breaking. We have an outside gap that I was loving yesterday. AMD on the map today, already missing a little bit of a move here, but a nice positive COG here a couple minutes ago. Now AMD is not actually one of the stronger ones here, but it's been interesting. almost have to go with this because the outside gap on the weekly, we got inside bar, we had an open, if y'all can see this. Okay, we had red bar here, inside candle on the weekly hand, the middle chart. We closed here, we gapped up. It's an outside weekly gap. Okay, back above the 20 pin moving average, albeit though we are below the 20 on the weekly and the monthly and the daily. So I went through a whole shindig with the group, if that's even a word, with the group on Friday regarding AMD. But we had the supply level here that I was looking at and it's trying to absorb it and take it out. We're not quite there yet, but I'm loving the weekly, we drew our impulse correctional waves on this. But I'm loving the weekly gap up on this. But AMD sometimes it likes to trap. So just be careful with that. So the unfortunate thing is I'm not going to be able to be here to manage it with y'all. So I do want to be a little careful with it with y'all in here, but it's something that you might want to potentially work on today. All right, Google new high. Let's TP some more. All right, Google has just been on fire. All right, from 180 to 270s. All right, so TP some Google. All right, just gonna fill the 278 on the option here. All right, so if y'all can see that the locks are the executions, right? 180, 250, bottom at 180, sold some at 251, sold some at 278. All right, here's the chart associated with that. All right, now we can take our stop loss, right, and just trail that up. All right, so take our original stop loss and just trail. All right. All right. Yeah, new high right there. Tesla so far not following through on that. VWAP test, be patient. Let me put the stop loss line on this. 400.75. That could be wrong. We'll see. Not yet, but we'll see. All right, no falter right now. That's not good so far. It's not ideal on the daily. We didn't really break out on last week's high low. It's only Tuesday, right? But yesterday we had a gap up, fade down, so we're just still inside bar. So you can see my stop loss is at least below yesterday's low, right? So I got to give that a little time and space to sift through. Google on fire, of course. Apple trying to go. So Fang's a little heavy this morning. So be careful with the AMD trade there. Pepsi popped. So it looks like Terry, Mean Boy Coin, is trying to get front side entry. Terry's trying to pick a bottom in Pepsi. Tough lickings. Netflix looking good. Bullish. See spies. I love a falling knife. Careful with that, but do it cautiously. At least let it come down into a monthly level of demand. That would be ideal. All right, VIX off its lows, but it was on a little bit of an uptick, but now it's kind of coming back down on a downtick here. But again, it's not significant unless we break, the high or the low, whatever. So we'll see, but it's come back down a little bit there. The 5-minute bar on the S&P is interesting right now. Google's ripping. All right, this is going to be an interesting candle close here. So we have this thing called painting bars. We have a nice little positive COG. It's not formed yet, but that could be a nice little positive COG if VIX remain on lows. All right, and then we have 7 minutes before this candle on the 30-minute time frame closes. All right, so you want to now we have what this thing called painting bars. So we'll see if the bulls can kind of pick this right back up. This will be a hammer wick. All right, Google just absolute ripping. So let's TP some up here more here. All right, Tesla hanging out on its VWAP. Just gotta be patient. Let's TP some Google. All right, solid buck on these right off. You know, it's only 23 minutes on the open. Remember, we have news. We have news, right? Coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern. So, you know, just tighten up your, you know, take some profit on Google. You know, I'm not really going to do anything. 289. You got a 289 fill on these. All right, so Google was a nice little ripper. Now you can put your stop loss at break even now, especially regarding news. Netflix gave us a nice little setup here. I like the decent location on daily. It's not the greatest in the world, but it's decent. This might be better for a swing trade, however. And again, I'm not gonna be able to be here tomorrow, so I'm a little. We got news at 10, and I'm over time right now on the session. So just make sure your stop loss on Tesla's here, 475. Microsoft giving us a little something interesting here too. It's location-wise in the middle of the monthly and the weekly. NVIDIA gapped up all-time highs. A little bit of a gap and crap, but no big deal. Just exit distribution, right? Just sell the exits, all-time highs. So that's pretty. Again, you know, if you bought some puts, I mean, great. I mean, that's hard to do though, right? Because this could have just gapped up and ripped up all-time highs. So, you know, again, you know, it's a tough short, even though you know we're off the all-time high. So I was selling, but I was selling the exit, right? All right, Fang's not looking. Fang's kind of everywhere. I mean, Fang meaning the the Magnificent Seven, right? Google, Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, right? So we got some up, we got some down. So a little bit mixed here, right? A little mixed here, a little mixed here. All right, so just be patient. We got news in a couple minutes, right? But yeah, if you want to learn a little bit more, you know, go to TradePhantoms.com. All right, and this is where kind of everybody starts. You can see we have some phantoms in here, right? So click the register button, and then I believe on Thursday, right, January 9th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, name, email, pretty common, right? Register, you'll get sent a link. It's about 90-minute class, give or take. You know, we'll kind of go through you know what we do here at Phantoms, right? How markets really work, demand, supply, how professionals trade. I've been doing this a long time. All markets, right? Stocks, futures, forex, options, day trading, right? Scalping, all the way to long-term investing and management. All right, kind of do it all, one-stop shop. All right, and that'll be hosted by either Mr. Black or Mr. Green. Sometimes they'll be in there together to you know just answer questions and all that kind of stuff too. But be hosted by one of these gentlemen at least at a minimum. And y'all can read, so this will be the agenda, right? Even sideways multi-directional trading with options, okay? And I'm the options guy for the most part there, right? So, yeah, if you like it, great. If it floats your boat, cool. All right. If not, that's cool as well, all right? We're not for everybody, and that's not the goal. But you got to start somewhere, right? And that's kind of the first step there. Again, Thursday, the 9th, okay? 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That being said, trade safe, be safe, and I'll see some of y'all later today in the classes, and then God willing tomorrow morning in the live trade room. News at 10. Stay focused. Stay strapped. Blue out. Take care.